We at Stop and Compare Markets are proud to support SCI by helping to honor someone who greatly inspires us. The Massachusetts Secretary of Labor, Rosalin Acosta, as a 2020 community social capitalist. Secretary Acosta embodies the spirit of what it means to be a social capitalist. She works every day to improve the human capital of our great Commonwealth. Not only has she handled the COVID onslaught of unemployment claims without a hiccup, she was instrumental in the governor's recent Career Technical Initiative, whose goal it is to provide more residents with career training and increase the limited supply of skilled workers available to businesses. Vocational schools would up operations to 3 shifts per day, their regular day of classes, an afternoon program for students enrolled in traditional high schools, and finally, an evening program for adults looking to move into high-demand industries. Give a woman a fish and you feed her for a day. Teach her to fish and you feed her for a lifetime. Thank you for your commitment to teach people how to fish and thereby build a better life. As a Cuban American, Secretary Acosta is committed to strengthening our Latino community by not only showing up and answering the call to public service, but also by bringing other people who look like her to the table. As a prominent Latina, she has broadened our connections and paved the way for many to follow. Roz is not only smart, accomplished, and strong. She is kind, unassuming, and real. What a great role model for women, Latina and otherwise. I know she inspires me to do better and reach higher and empower others to take the climb with me. I can't imagine how many more people she inspires. Honoring her today is not just an acknowledgement of all her past achievements and success, but a recognition of her ongoing efforts to positively impact the future of our Commonwealth and its citizens. Thank you, Roz, for all that you do.
I've been in the private sector pretty much my entire career for the last 32 years of my career. Also have been very, very involved in nonprofit sector, working as a board member for many, many nonprofits over the last 2 decades, aging myself here, and frankly have always had a very strong sense of mission in anything I do. And when the governor asked me if I would be interested in this, just not something you could ever say no to. And it really has been for me just a wonderful opportunity to combine the business acumen and the mission-driven passion that I have. And I couldn't think of a better place to be. This is by far the best job I've ever had, and I'm very, very excited. Now, I say that, and I would say that constantly when we had this fabulous economy, right? 2.8%, and until the first week of March, and then life changed, and I don't think any one of us in government ever even dreamed of being in a situation where we're dealing with a pandemic, which has led to a pretty deep recession here for us in Massachusetts. Certainly for our workforce and what we have seen going from a much smaller department to now going from 50 people as in a customer service center to 1,500 people now serving claimants. Over 1 million claimants in just the last 8 weeks. Unprecedented numbers. These are numbers that I'm going to say later at some point in my life, and I'm going to have to double check myself and say I don't think that was just too big. But here's where we are. So we had 2 things going against us, right? We had the virus and we had the volume. So we couldn't just add a bunch of people and put them in a call center and say, pick up phone calls. We had to get technology for these folks because none of these folks had the technology to go home and do these remote calls from home. So it was very challenging because at the time that we're getting our workforce ready, we have people that are unemployed and we have folks that need us to be working. And we really did not skip a beat. Our folks have been working 7 days a week since the middle of March, no days off. One of the things that I have always admired about going from the private sector to the public sector is the amount of dedication and commitment that I see from government workers. And nothing has brought this more to light than this crisis. And when I see our employees not even wanting to take a day off, because there's so much work ahead of us, and completely saying, no, there's still work to do. We are not taking time off until every claim is answered and every phone call is answered. We are not taking time off. I'll tell you, I have cried several times in these last few weeks, maybe from exhaustion, but also just from the amazing stories that we hear from others telling me how our employee transformed their life or saved their life because they had no money to pay for rent, and now they can pay for rent because we took that call and because we processed that claim. And I hear those stories over and over again, and I just couldn't be prouder. So what it's done for me, it's affirmed how incredible my team is and how dedicated they are. And there are lessons that all of us in government and the private sector obviously are going to learn from this incredible crisis that we're moving through, and best practices, frankly, that we're not going to let go of. And I think it's also a time where we've really come down to the basics of just family and health and community, and making sure that your neighbor is safe, that your family is safe. It kind of doesn't matter. Nothing else really matters. And so when we have to work 7 days a week, it's okay, because as long as we're healthy and we can do it, and we're helping people, I think that, to me, that's everything right now. A lot of leaders are that I may not have seen before are certainly being born now. Folks that that have really risen to the occasion, and with an incredible amount of resilience and commitment. And I think we're all just astonished at how collaborative and how well gelled the organization really has performed to meet the challenge that we're in. We have already begun shifting from this unemployment to reemployment journey that we all need to begin thinking about. And the 1,000,001 folks that have applied for unemployment so far, some of those folks won't have jobs to go back to. Some of those businesses may not be able to open, and certainly they may not be able to open right away. So now the shift for us is, how do we find jobs for these folks, which is 100% the opposite of what we were talking about in February, when we had too many jobs and not enough people looking for work. Now it's going to look a little different. So how are we going to help those folks get back to work, and get back to maybe a better job than they had before? So our low-income workers have gotten hit. Our communities of color have gotten hit very, very hard in this pandemic. And I think we're going to have to re-triple, not just redouble, but re-triple our forces to make sure that we're reaching our communities, and that we're providing maybe different types of help than we have in the past. But I think there has to be a real focus, because I think that's where the pain is. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to address. And I want to thank you for this honor. I'm very honored to be your social capitalist, and I'm very honored. And I just want to thank all of you for choosing me for this award. We do these things not to get awards. We do these things because it's absolutely the right thing to do, and it comes from the heart. And I couldn't imagine doing anything differently. So thank you.